All right, guys, we're gonna get going. We're trying to rip through these talks. Um, so, all right, let's get that door shut. Pipe down out there. Who's in the back? Scott, shut that door on your way out. Shut that door for me, Scott. Thank you. All right. Yeah, so we're going to talk boots on the ground. This is like the dirty reality of what's actually happening right now, not all the beautiful like unicorns of free open source software that will be someday, which I do believe it will be. But today it's basically just that scene from Lord of the Rings where the guy's pouring oil on his face. That's pretty much my experience. It's just immersion oil gone wrong all over my body. Yeah, I'm going to have you guys just introduce yourselves and just tell us kind of what you guys are up to as far as installation. And I know, Christian, you, of course, have a product as well. So we'll start with Cade.
Hey, my name's Cade Peterson. I live up in central Idaho. I operate Softwarm, LLC. Basically, I focus on heat reuse for industrial and residential, commercial applications. And I've got a few little test systems out of my own places, too.
Cade's selling himself short. Cade's like the patron saint of Heatpunks, I would say. He's been out there in Idaho just installing like mad, and yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Thanks, Cody.
Yeah, sure. Christian?
So I'm Christian from Switzerland. We have the company Riot, not the Riot from the US. So in Europe, no one knows Riot. So yeah, the name comes from Wolf Riot. It's the hottest star in the universe. That's how we came up. And we built the Riot 1, which is basically a heating system for single-family homes, water-based. In Europe, we mainly have water-based heating systems, floor heating, radiators. So we started that like 2.5 years ago and developed the product ourselves. It's immersion, so you're right. I know that problem with having oil all over you. And yeah, selling it now for 1 year and have around 45 installations now running in Switzerland, Germany, and Austria.
Nice.
I'm Travis. I've been using Bitcoin miners for heat reuse since 2020. I got a day job. I'm a project manager for an industrial contractor. Piping is my emphasis, and Cade's my hero, by the way.
There you
go.
So
I've been trying to emulate him, and I'm honored that you guys are interested in what I'm building, what I'm doing, so happy to share with what I'm up to.
Yeah, excited to have you here, Travis. I want to hear a little more elaboration on like what kind of system you guys are installing. And Christian, let's start with you. What exactly are you guys doing? Pools? Are you doing hydronic? Are you doing what exactly are you heating?
So as mentioned, we have mainly water-based heating systems in, let's say, in the German-speaking countries. So over 50% still have oil or gas-based heating systems. So what it does, it burns the flame, it heats up the water. You have a boiler water tank for your tap water, and you have the rest going directly into radiators or floor heating. So now in Europe, you are forced to change those heating systems to a more sustainable solution, which is mainly air heat pumps or geothermal heat pumps. But you can't build them everywhere, and they're expensive. Sometimes you're not allowed to put an outside unit. So what we actually do is we install it exactly the same way, but the heat source is a Bitcoin miner. And we put it in a product. I'm one of those guys that 3 years ago, I didn't know how a heating system works. So I met a guy that is heating greenhouses in Switzerland, also with Bitcoin mining, and I asked him, can we do that for single-family homes, apartment buildings? And for me, it just made sense to use waste heat from computing power. I was in Bitcoin longer, since 2017. Yeah, so then I said, okay, I'm coming more from the marketing and sales side, so I'm not the techie. But I said, we need to put in a product, nice looking. We have to build the Tesla of the heating industry. Right. So because the big market is not the Bitcoiners, it's the house owners. So we need to make it easy. We need to make it economical for them. And that's exactly what we do. So Ride 1, boiler, buffer tank, floor heating, radiators, swimming pool, solar system, battery storage. That's what we do. Yeah.
Anything that needs heat. Okay, cool. Travis, am I correct in understanding that you're heating some kind of cheese factory?
Oh yeah, so I've got about a 150 kilowatt mine. It's a commercial building.
This is a single installation, 150
Yeah, I
kilowatts.
mean, it's basically my mining operation. So I sat.
I like the name Cheese Factory.
It's the cheese mine.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the cheese mine, right? But it used to be a cheese plant, actually, in Wisconsin. And this is an old building. It's all brick, a lot of thermal mass. And the owner of the building right now has had a problem because it doesn't stay heated all year long. The tenants are using it for storage or for like hobby shops, work on their trucks, things like that, tile floors. And every spring, this building would be like an ice block, and then there'd be condensation. We have a lot of humidity in Wisconsin in the springtime, and the walls would just sweat, and everything was grungy, moldy, kind of gross, right? Well, I was here in Denver for a year for a job for a construction project, and I had all my miners at home just running, the windows open all winter long. I was maxing out my 200 amp panel. When I got back, I had to find a place for these. So I wanted to find a place that could utilize the heat. So I found this guy. He's 5 minutes from my house. We're blowing all of that 150 kilowatts throughout the building with inline fans. And, you know, last spring when it started to get warm, no problems. No problems at all. All the tenants there are happy as heck because none of their unit heaters have to run when they're there. And then I've been using that place as a testing ground, and from Cade's inspiration with some heated slab work, I did a heated slab with an amp miner hydro machine, and I have 3-phase power there, which is nice. It's working out great. The owner's happy. I blew a transformer on the pole already once.
That's
and
a good
went through
sign.
that, you know, so.
That's a good sign.
But the cheese mine's working out great, so there are some proof of concepts there, and I want to continue to, I sit awake at night, just like everybody else, thinking, like, I know this works. I know this is a good idea. How do we deploy this? What do we do? How do we figure this out, you know? And so I'm looking for more places to deploy some hash rate heating.
What was the original heat source in this cheese factory?
Well, what they had there, each of the individual spaces had gas unit heaters, you know, but
Okay.
they weren't always running. They didn't
Yeah.
keep the place heated
Okay.
all winter long. There's an apartment on the front of the building, what used to be the offices, and there's a gal that lives there, and she was running an electric space heater, and I said, hey, I've got a space heater for you. Why don't you use this one, you know, and she's happy to use that one too. So
Nice.
it's worked out so far, so good.
Okay. Cade, what are you putting in Idaho? What are you doing up there?
I'm trying to finish up my main project house. I've got this house. It's like old as hell, right? It's like built 1905 was the original cabin. It's like 10 by 10 feet, 12 by 12, something like that. Then it's got an addition that was built in 1915. And we know this because of the newspapers in the walls.
That's true. I found a fair share of those myself.
Yeah, I found a lot of newspapers, original from 1915, you know, talking about the Kaiser and the World War I found a color version too. That was really cool. And then other portions of the house, we found papers from 1925, 1955. So it's very non-standard hodgepodge construction. And so I get some questions like, oh, why'd you put it there? Why'd you put the heat loop in the wall? I'm like, bro, that's where it's going, man. That's I'm not ripping the floor up, you know. So it's kind of a good test case because I'm seeing the effectiveness in different ways of using the radiant heat. And it's very simplistic, really, to just build a hydronic loop, you know, and then you can just move the heat around. And it's not a real complex set of controls. You just have a heat exchanger, and then as soon as there's a heat demand, the pump comes on and just draws from it. And generally, all my setups have a heat dump, too. So I want to keep the system running all the time. It's profitable where I live to run it all the time. And so we just let the boiler run essentially all the time. And then when there's a heat demand for the house, we just turn the pump on, pull it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so you're doing almost exclusively like hydronic stuff. You're not doing air. You run
I do-
any heating applications.
I do use some air. It's really good for supplemental for like construction sites, you know, instead of getting a propane torpedo to heat up the construction site, right? There's a business idea for somebody. Rent those things out, you know.
True.
UL listing be damned.
Yeah, exactly. There will not be a lot of. Well, I will see. Christian,
see.
you're probably UL listed, right? I see some kinda-
But yeah, so the air-cooled miners, they're good for supplemental stuff, and they're good for thermal mass testing too. Like, you want to see how much heat a building really needs before you install a more complex system. just throw a couple air-cooled miners in there first. Let them run, see where they balance out, see how hot the room is. Then you know what you need.
So you two for sure represent, along with myself, the scrappiest, most rowdy punk end of the Heatpunks movement, I would say. This is a lot of like napkin math going on up here and making it work. But Christian, are you, to my understanding, you're actually like using the installers that are already in place in Switzerland to install your product? Is that right?
Yes, exactly. So
can you just walk us through like how did you end up at this spot? And
so my thought was from the beginning, we have to include that them in the process from the beginning because we don't want to do installations.
Right.
So what I did, I was talking immediately to heating installers, and I was a bit scared because I had some thoughts that they may say, no, it's new, I don't know it, I don't want to handle this. So that was actually the reason why we put the heat exchanger into the right one, so they don't have to deal with the Bitkle. So in the back, they just do what they already do.
Yeah.
They have an inlet, outlet, the electrician is doing the electricity and the internet. And that way, I was actually surprised the installers in Switzerland were very open. In Germany, it was exactly the opposite.
I would guess, I mean, we'll see in America. I can understand the feeling though. Like there are oftentimes a lot of these guys that I work with that are just very resistant to change for no reason.
Yeah, I thought the same, but I was really surprised.
Okay,
so there
Swiss guys
are
are
a lot of open-minded, also in Austria, but Germany is horrible.
Huh.
So they are completely the opposite. But that's how it is in third world countries.
Yeah.
Right? So no, I know. So the same with electricians, solar companies. So because I don't see it as a heating system. So if I would say it's an electrical resistant heater, that's the last thing you're ever going to hear from my side. But it's also because of the law in Switzerland, you're not allowed to install electrical resistant heating systems.
Wow.
But I see it as an energy system. So I see it as a whole for the whole house because we have so many buildings in Europe, they are forced to put solar panels. Now, you were promised to get like 20 to 30 cents per kilowatt hour in summer to providing the electricity to the grid. Now in Germany, you don't get anything. In Austria, you will have to pay from next year on to provide electricity to the grid. They even throttle your solar panels.
So they make you pay to
provide the green electricity
What a
to the
privilege.
grid. Yeah. Welcome to Europe. So, no, but so what a miner allows you, it's a heat source, but it's also a solar surplus consumption machine that changes it into money, the electricity. So, by talking to these installers and everything, we make them aware of it. Of course, we are selling the units, but we are trying to tell them, to show them by giving them actually business for installing the units to understand what we are doing. Now, the oldest installations are a bit more than a year old. So now they see it's working, you get the heat, you get the money. We integrate it in smart home systems, so you can really optimize your energy. Because someone said it before, the customer doesn't want heat. They want heat, a warm house, but especially what they want is cheap electricity.
Yeah, they want to save.
Yeah.
They want to save
So
money.
my goal is to actually ask them, what do you want? Cheaper electricity, free electricity, or do you want to get paid for the electricity? And based on what they want, you have to install it in their house. But that's how the customers work, or think in their mind.
Yeah. In Switzerland, you're not allowed to use resistance electric. You're also not allowed to use oil anymore.
Yeah, so you have to change in the next 10 years.
Okay,
you have to move away.
window.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so, I mean, a heat pump in the end is also an electrical-based heating system. It has some more efficiency, but yeah.
Can you use those?
Yeah.
Okay. Use heat
So
pumps. Just not
they're
resistant.
forcing or they're pushing you into heat pumps and district heating.
Not to just spend the whole time talking about Switzerland here, although it is interesting. Is it not difficult in a lot of Switzerland due to altitude and extremely cold temperatures to use heat pumps? Aren't there limitations?
Actually, most of people live in the flatland, so which is 600 meters above sea level. So what I learned yesterday that we are here around 1,600. That's mountain region in Switzerland.
Yeah, well, okay, so you guys are lower altitude than
but
me.
actually, that's the most interesting region because we are now doing some other stuff with hotels, and there the business model is a bit different, but we install the units, bigger units. We pay them a fixed amount in fiat, They currently still have an electrical heating system, but they're forced to change. So what we do is waste heat, which waste heat is supported.
Waste heat is supported.
Yes. So we pay them like 4.5 cents, for example. They buy the unit, they buy the electricity, and the difference from the mining return to the 4.5 cents goes to us in a contract over 15 years, which is a really nice business model.
Wow. That's a very different situation in Switzerland than in the United States. I want to ask you guys about finding customers. You've kind of already gone over it, Christian, but Cade, do you want to start with like how are you finding your customers? I know you've got a lot of deployments, right? It's not just like, I mean, you're like all over the place in your area.
Yeah, in my local community, I have about 23, 24 sites, and they're all independent, different people. Using the computers for their own heat reuse, or they just mine for profit if they want to. I would say generally, I'm on city council too, so I'm kind of easy to find from my hometown. But I just like to go to the bar.
The bar.
I do, and you know, when I went to business school, I was down at University of Southern California and paying all this money to go to school, right? And they're like, here's how you do it, go to the bar. They're like, you're gonna make more deals at the bar than you ever will anywhere else. And I was like, all right. So
you found this to be true.
I did find this to be true.
All right.
So I
don't spend enough time at the bar.
I just go, yeah. Well, it can't just be like a loud club, you know, because you gotta talk to people.
It's one of these like cigar and leather chair bars. Like, is this
kind of a lounge environment
Okay.
where people can hang out and talk. And you can kind of tell right away, you know, show them some pictures of the systems, the setup, and they're interested in it. And they're like, why is the computer in water? You know, everybody thinks it's in water, and that just blows their mind that it's in a liquid. And they want to know more about it. And then when people go wash their car, you know, we got a car wash we put together locally. We have a circular like Bitcoin kind of industrial economy where the concrete plant too is heated with Bitcoin computers, right? So they heat the water up, and I don't know if I'm sure a few of you have seen my snow melt system that we put together a couple years ago. But the water that was heated for the concrete was delivered. So my concrete's Bitcoin concrete too. Like it was heated with Bitcoin computers, right? And then it was poured on my sidewalk to make my sidewalk. So
wow.
So like, and then you go wash your car with the Bitcoin heat from the car wash. And the old bank in town I talked about last year, but it used to be Wells Fargo, and now it's just we mine Bitcoin there. So there's no Wells Fargo.
Now you know why I want to be just like Cade.
Well, you want to be just like Cade. Cade does have a giant leg up in that. I mean, what is the electrical price in the place that you're at, Cade?
Well, I want to get in on this.
All right, let's get in on it, Cade.
So when people ask me the electrical price, generally I say it's not relevant.
It's not relevant.
It's not relevant.
It seems relevant to me.
It is kind of relevant,
Okay.
but not. But there's a lot of irrelevancy there, and I think it's a missed target because it doesn't matter where you live. Even if you live in a skyscraper in New York City and you pay 30 cents a kilowatt hour, if you use electricity to heat, it is always more effective to mine Bitcoin. But yes, I do live in an area where it's about 6 cents a kilowatt hour.
6, yeah.
Yeah, and we have different methods of control too, right? Like I run my machines all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't need a complex set of controls. But if I want to run my machines, maybe I'm using a really old version of a miner, I want better control set on it, where I'm not going full throttle all the time, and I'm able to turn it on and off or taper it down based upon actual demand. Mm-hmm. So I could see where that comes in when your power goes up, but generally, yeah, my power is a little bit lower. 3-phase, paying about 5 cents a kilowatt hour, and if you're running an RV park, it's like 4.2 cents.
What's the subsidy for RV?
I'm about to move into an RV.
Is there a way to declare your house an RV park?
No. The infrastructure cost to put an RV park in is pretty big.
Okay.
I mean, if you go look at their distribution and the amount of electrical infrastructure that goes in to do that, it's not really something you're going to recoup costs on. But you find a fire sale deal on someone who's sick of dealing with it, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
But we also have a co-op too.
Okay.
Right. So the more I spend, the more I make, basically, because I get capital credits on my expenditures. So if my energy bill is totally subsidized by mining Bitcoin, I should just mine more Bitcoin, right? because I'm getting paid with the co-op as well.
It seems to me like the key take from this, Cade, is that you need to get on city council and become a man of the local bar and get your fingers into lots of
You got to get to know people.
things. Travis, you've got, it sounds like most of your eggs in one basket in this cheese factory. Are you looking for other projects, or how are you finding other people?
I do have another project right now. It's actually, my uncle just built a house.
Okay.
And so I got his ear bent, and we're going to put in Bitcoin hot water, Bitcoin heated garage, and then potentially next summer, before he pours his driveway, Bitcoin heated driveway, right?
Nice.
The challenge that I have is that now we're dealing with, we're talking about power rates here.
Yeah. Well, they don't matter.
Oh, yeah, right. His,
power rates are irrelevant.
yeah. His off-peak rate is 10 cents, not too bad. His
Okay.
on-peak is 27.
Oh my,
So
20 what?
27.
27 cents?
Yeah,
What are we,
so-
is it Switzerland?
Yeah, right. So,
Germany?
We have 35.
yeah.
No.
So the challenge is how do I deploy this thing and then still make it make sense, or have it run off-peak, save the heat for on-peak, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've been thinking about doing is, we found actually at my uncle's house, he ended up with my grandfather's dairy farm, and we found a 50-gallon heat exchanger in the milk house, and we're repurposing that, and it's going to work great to store the M64's 160-degree water, and I'll have a 50-gallon heat battery.
Okay.
To help save some heat. The other thing I'm going to do is the water heater that's designed or set at 120 degrees. We're gonna warm that thing up to 160, and then on the outlet of that, we'll put a thermostatic mixing valve. And Bob, you were just talking about those, and so now that 40-gallon electric water heater that he has, we've just upped the capacity by like 30% because we're going to keep it hotter water in there. So overnight, the machine will run, charge up this 90-gallon system of 160-degree water, and then that should get us, I hope, through the bridge to the next off-peak period when we can run again, right? So I'm stuck with trying to come up with clever ways to maximize off-peak, turn off on-peak. We were talking in the home assistant discussion with Dylan. I'd like to get the controls set up so that they talk to a weather API. If we do the heated driveway, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow, let's start warming that driveway up the day before.
Yeah.
And then also we can break it up into zones and doing things like that. So my head as a pipe fitter by trade, I'm looking for controls and engineering controls basically to try to make this work. So I think it'll work. We'll see.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think the next thing I want to talk about is, like, are we saving our customers money here? I mean, Cade, clearly you are. I mean, your installations are.
I don't have anyone mad at me.
Yeah. Well, that's shocking, despite judging by how much time you spend in this bar. Apparently, this. And Travis, it sounds like you are too. It sounds like you're quite keen to, using this time of day to get it down to that 10 cent, which 10 cents is a very competitive electrical rate. So,
Yeah,
what are
so-
the other options up there for heat? I mean, is there propane an option?
Yeah, there's people who are away from, let's say, the natural gas distribution are going to be on propane, but most of the people in my area have access to natural gas, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to be and what I told my uncle, I said, hey, you're going to have this hydronic system. If it doesn't work, you can always stick a natural gas boiler on there,
Yeah.
and you can have some redundancy, something like that. But my calcs right now in this market right now, in the hash price we have right now, is a good time to do some calculations. I feel like let's do the math today when things are, let's say a little more grim, and they're okay with him and his girlfriend are okay with, this machine's not going to provide 100% payback on the electric, but now as soon as we use that hot water, and the domestic hot water will just about balance it out to make it break even. Then garage heat's free, heated driveway's free, and bonus.
So Christian, do you have a like fixed revenue? Like, are you sharing the sats? Like, how are you onboarding customers? Are they taking the Bitcoin? What is your model?
At the moment, we sell the units, and 100% of the Bitcoin return goes to the customer.
To the customer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are planning to change that, but at the moment, as mentioned, it's hard times, especially with 35 cents electricity price. But I mean, it's not our solution is not for everyone. It's true. But you have to take into consideration what does it cost to exchange my oil or gas heating system to a heat pump, whatever. So I can tell you, an air heat pump, exchanging that is around 50,000. If you have geothermal, it's 80 to 100,000. Our solution is around 30,000. So you calculate that over 15 years, including all that solar topic that I was mentioning, it's still compatible over 15 years with the other solutions. Of course, we tell them keep the Bitcoin for some time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but but that's something we cannot guarantee. I think no one can here. So you need that understanding from the customer, and that makes it not so easy right now to find new customers. So
Yeah.
it was much easier last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It has been a grind. The hash price grinding down has been, not easy for.
That's why we
penciling
are also
things
now
out.
at the moment a bit focusing also on these hotels I was mentioning.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because they have in the mountains, they have you have these dams, so these regions benefit from better prices, and there you have prices between 10 to 18 cents,
Wow.
which is good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's super good.
Giving it
Yeah.
away in Europe.
I envy you.
And I want to get into the more back to the nitty gritty here of the grind of installing this stuff. Reliability, Cade. You got 23 installations. How often are you having to service these? And how reliable have your systems been overall? And would you make changes? Did you do anything massively wrong that you shouldn't have done?
No, I've had pretty good results. I think having a good mechanical background, I'm a aircraft mechanic by trade in A&P, got a lot of years of experience working on airplanes, so cars, and basic mechanical principles. If you just follow them on your installs, I don't think it's really that complicated.
That's good to hear. Actually, to be honest, I would say the same. I have a much smaller, sheet of installs than you do, but mine have also been quite reliable.
Yeah, and if you just think about what you're doing, when you lay that hose, you run it through a wall, maybe you should have a conduit that it goes through, so you don't have it cut.
Yeah.
I mean, things like that. I would say the biggest reliability issues I've had lately has been the new S21s. And I know they're not meant for immersion, whatever, I don't care. Put them in.
Yeah. Bob actually and I were talking about this earlier.
And the S19s were so good, and then Antminer came out with these S21s, and they know people are using them in immersion, so why wouldn't they use compatible thermal paste? They didn't, it just comes out. And then also, if you get one chip bad, the whole computer doesn't work. You can't just disable the hash board.
Whoa.
And so you got to pull it out and unplug it. And it's really time intensive. And not only that, but the marketing they did on them, yeah, sure, it's 200 terahash, but it's 3,650 watts, okay? And you get a K Pro, and yeah, it's only 120 terahash, but it's 2,800 watts.
Yeah.
So let's do the math here. You turn the K Pro up a little bit, or just having more K Pros, and I'm having to turn my S21s down anyway. They can't take the heat.
I think Canon sort of prides themselves in having reliable machines, and I think that's something that Leo was also mentioning, is that we can get this high efficiency, but at what cost? At what reliability cost? Or maybe somebody else is mentioning it, but yeah, I do worry about this as well. Like going toward these are these machines going to be as bulletproof as the J Pros have been for us?
Yeah, but the immersion systems have been really good.
Yeah.
Like I have not had any mechanical failures in any of the pumps or anything like that. So that's really reliable, and I look at it like microinfrastructure, because you can always just swap the computer out, right?
In your system.
Yeah, my system. Yeah, so I like that modularity where I can just put whatever is new in there as long as it fits in the tank.
Christian, what are you guys using for your machines?
Watts miners, M56S plus, and
Okay.
up,
These
yeah.
are like the hydro machines. I'm not familiar
That's
with
the
this.
immersion.
Oh, they are the immersion.
Yeah, immersion.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. With the cheese factory, where are we on revenue sharing?
So the deal that I have with the building owner there is basically I took over the electric bill for the whole building. And he showed me 2 years worth of electric bills from the previous 2 years, and it was never more than like $150 a month across all the tenants. But that's on a standard residential rate, and getting on the commercial industrial time of use rate that I'm on, and I get a curtailment call From time to time when it's really hot or extremely cold, I get a much better rate there. I'm averaging about 6 cents there. So my deal with the owner is basically I took over the electric bill for the whole building. That's probably comes out to $100 a month or something like that. Then that pays for my leased space, and I can use it for the proof of concepts. And he's extremely happy. He's got a better deal. He's got one less bill he's got to pay. The tenants are happy. They have the heat, and it's been working out quite well. So they're happy there. But from a reliability standpoint, we just had a problem just a week and a half ago. One phase went down. There was a surge, and I lost some PSUs. And I talked to the utility, and they're like, well, we can't help it if, a tree falls and it just hits one phase, right? That's a problem. And the way that this building is set up is it's 120 Y208 is what's coming into the building, and then I have a step-up transformer to 277 Y480, and it's a 208 delta to 277 Y480 transformer, step-up transformer. Well, when you pull one leg, some wonky stuff happens on the other side of that. So I just have.
I think some wonky stuff happened in the words before all of that.
Yeah. So there's more equipment, and I did a little research on this. I need an FSD, and I need some contractors and stuff, and there's some surge protection basically that you can get to, protect against that. But that's, I'm just learning the hard way.
Yeah,
just
that's a tough one. That's
it.
a tough one. That's hard to predict though. I think that's almost not your problem at all from a reliability position. It's like, what are you going to do? Have a backup generator?
Can I comment on that revenue sharing a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is one of the main problems that I kind of ran into when I first started is when I try to take over the bill for someone else, I'm basically mining for profit, right? And what I want them to do is understand that they're buying heat or selling heat or using heat. And so I just take a flat hash rate cut. So I just take 10%.
Oh, nice.
So I don't have any overhead. I don't have to worry about paying the bill, right? And if they don't want to do business with me anymore, that's fine. Just don't call me when you got a problem, right?
So you're saying they pay for the install. They, of course, pay for the machines at the beginning. And then ongoing, you take 10% as like a maintenance sort of
Yeah,
like
there
a
have been some
response fee.
installs where I have paid for the capital or provided the capital for the equipment up front. And what I do is I lend it to them in the form of Bitcoin. So whatever that Bitcoin value is for the equipment at that date, they need to produce that much Bitcoin with their install to pay me back.
Very good. That's the smart way to do it. Guys, we're running out of time. Is there one thing, can you think of something that would make installation or what you guys are doing easier? Is there one like pain point that you guys are running into, whether it's, it doesn't sound like we have any regulatory problems. But is there one thing that...
I'm not talking to the regulators.
You don't talk, okay.
Regulation
is not a problem in Wisconsin.
But I think the communication that I struggle to communicate enough the way it is, but to communicate why and how this works, most people they're not ready. They're not there yet.
Okay.
They don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forget who said it earlier. Rebate is a great word. Rebate's a nice way to explain that, and that's kind of the way I'm going.
Okay. Christian, any thorn in your side up there other than the unbelievable expensive power that you have to live with?
Yeah, we have some regulatories that they ignored us last year. Now they start to fight us a little bit. But I think that's how it is if you come up with some innovation, some new stuff. We are trying to standardize now. So go like the route of this is the buffer tank we recommend, this is the boiler we recommend, because every installer does it differently, and that can lead to problems. So I agree, the miner itself or the right one for us is not the issue. The issue is often with something else after that.
Okay.
So we're trying to standardize, educate, doing checklists, installation manuals, everything for them to make it as easy as possible.
It's really cool to see such a professional and integrated system that you guys have going over there. It seems like you're very well integrated with the industry and industry professionals.
The margin is the problem, because for a heat pump they get 40 to 50% if they sell one. We cannot deal with that. Yeah, otherwise they even tell me honestly, I would sell the ride, but I get 40 to 50% margin on a heat pump.
Wow, that is tough. Uphill battle. Cade, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we could really use, for example, some pre-built Raspberry Pis that come off the shelf, where I could go install them at different locations, and they can connect via API to some standard firmware, and I can set parameters for those specific buildings. I don't have time to figure that shit out. Sorry.
Neither do I.
All right. So, and then, and also maybe some easier user interface products. That's really what sells it to the customer is the simplicity of the user interface. They're not going to figure stuff out, you know, and a lot of folks are technically challenged, and they're just kind of really taking a leap and trusting that we're going to do it right. So,
Cool. All right, guys, we are out of time on this talk. I'll turn it over to Tyler, and yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you.